In today's video, I unbox the Primaris Hellblasters for the Blood Angels faction. Let's take a look.
There are hobbyists among us, geniuses with the ability to play any game they want to. In 1978, a corporation known as The Interior isolated a young hobbyist named John and exploited his genius for their entertainment.
Then one day, their hobbyist ran away.
Here we have the Primaris Hellblasters for the Blood Angels. I got this one because when I was looking over all of the different Hellblasters, I found that there was the Ultramarines and then a couple different factions. And from what I could tell, the only real difference was the Blood Angels here came with the upgrade sprue. Other than that, it was the exact same. So if you got a different faction, you had a different upgrade sprue. But if you got just the Ultramarines, just your standard Space Marines, all you got were their water transfers. No upgrade sprue, nothing extra. And at least at the time when I purchased this, they were all costing the exact same. I think now this one has gone up in price, but when I purchased it, they were all the same. So I really couldn't see a difference. Luckily for me, I also like the Blood Angels, so it did help with my decision making. Well, let's go ahead and take a look to see what we got. Of course, the cover shows us some pre-painted here in the Blood Angels colors. And if we flip it over, we can see some more examples of that. I also love when they actually give names to some of the items, because especially if you are a new player, you are not 100% up to what all the different weapons are. So it is nice to actually be able to see without having to get the codex what some of these items are. So when you're looking for your rules, you know exactly what is what. By the looks of it, is also showing that it includes the Blood Angels upgrade sprue, and showing you what all you're going to get there. So that is really awesome. But of course, one of my favorite parts in most of these Games Workshop Citadel products is this bottom section right here, which has always been unfortunate for me that they do not include this on their kill team sets, but here in their base 40k sets they almost always have that. So why is this painting scheme useful? Well, especially again if you are new to the hobby and you are looking to replicate this kind of a paint scheme, it is nice when you're buying the product to also be able to see what paints that you may or may not need. So this is always really awesome. Well, let's go ahead and crack this open and take a look inside to see what we are actually getting. And that is everything in the box. And up first we have a colored instruction manual. This again is always awesome. I love in the newer sets how they are starting to do the color-coded instructions. We will definitely go into this later, but this right here is the very reason why I love these color sheets. It really helps with this when you're getting into the build. If there are points of concern or for whatever they're doing, or if they're showing you variant type product options, especially if you have this color code in here, it's very easy to spot that out. I absolutely love it. It really makes these colored instruction booklets useful. We'll go ahead and take a look at this at the end. Then it looks like we got some water transfer sheets. Once again, with these water transfer sheets, if you want to use them, all you need to do is get out your hobby knife, cut out the one you want. You only want to work on one at a time. Stick that into some water. It'll loosen up. You will actually see the transfer start to slide around on this paper, and then you can literally slide that onto your miniature and it will then adhere to it. The glue is already on there, and when it dries, it will basically be there for life. There are other products you can buy. For an example, there is from Microsol, there's Microsol Microset, which can help you with the water transfers and their adhesion and their look and everything like that. One of the great uses for all of these water transfers are to be used not as much just for the sticker or the water transfer themselves, but almost more for a stencil, because a lot of times you can tell the difference between this sticker and your paint. Well, if you use this as a stencil and then come back and paint green over it yourself, or try to paint over this and do it yourself, and again just use that as that stencil, everything will be coherent, everything will look the same. So in the box we're going to have two upgrade sprues, a whole bunch of bases, 3, 4, wow, is there a ton in this box. Holy cow. Let's go ahead and take a look at everything individually. First up, just to get it out of the way, we have our bases. Yay, 32 mil bases, 10 of them. We've seen that before. Alright, so then we have our upgrade sprue. And there you are. Now this is our Blood Angles Primaris upgrade sprue. And we have 2 of these, being that this is a 10-man team. So this is super awesome, especially with this. I'm guessing we're going to have a lot of options in here. This set right here, I can already tell it is going to expand my bits box tremendously, just with all of the extra parts that I'm going to wind up having, and all of the different options that you can make. One of the beauties of having these upgrade sprues is all of these shoulder pads, because what's going to happen is a lot of times you will have multiple weapons. Here we go, let's grab this first one. For example, you'll have multiple of these guns and these arms, and so you might want to, like here, these 2, you might want to magnetize each of these arms so you can put it on your miniature. Well, your only problem is going to be a lot of times you won't have enough shoulder pads for all of them. You'll only have your 20 or so, 20, 22, 24, whatever it is, shoulder pads to put them on there. Well, now with this, all of a sudden we have a whole bunch of extra shoulder pads. So now we can really take advantage of all of these extra armed guns, and really be able to magnetize everything and really get it in there nice. Well, so let's go over here, and since we had this sprue out, this seems like a great place to start. And we have 2 of these. So by the looks of it, there's basically 2 kind of complete sets of everything in here. Because if you notice, there was 4 of these normal size sprue, and then the 2 upgrade sprue. So if you take all of that, so there we go. So there are 2 sets of these set of 3 sprue. Well, we just took a look at the upgrades. Now let's take a closer look here. This is the backpacks, and looks like the backs and fronts. There we go. Yeah. So it looks like it's a lot of chests, backpacks, some weaponry, a few extras. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this. Bunch of heads over here. Once we dive into the rulebook, we'll really be able to take a look at all of the extras, get a really good idea of how much extra we have in here. Bunch of different arm positions, always useful. And then a lot of those Blood Angel capsules. Seeing a lot of really great parts here for kit conversion, especially. This set would definitely be a definite recommend if you are wanting to kit bash different Blood Angels, because there are definitely tons of stuff. And of course, this is should be your straight. So these aren't going to be blood capsules. I don't know what those are. What are those going to be? Now I think about it, because all our Blood Angel specifics are going to be here on this upgrade sprue. Let's see here. At first glance on the box, I'm not seeing... That's another thing, we'll have to look in the rule books to see what all of these 18s are. That's cool though, they look cool. Let's see if we can take a better look kind of there at the front of them. They're going to be on their feet maybe? I have no idea. We'll have to see what that is. And then our last sprue, again we have 2 of these. And the backpacks, probably going to be some part of this. Again, I don't see it right off. All of our different basic shoulder pads. So again, we'll have these for our custom Blood Angels, and then here for the just basic. So here you can just definitely use this as your example, where you would have just your basic shoulder pad on one side and your Blood Angel on the other. Again, so you can do all of our magnetization and customization. Where these would go on a lot of the arms that have multiple uses, multiple versions. Alright, let's take a closer look. All our legs. A bunch of heads there. So we can see here 6 different heads, then a whole bunch of ones. So that means these are all going to be unique. That's just labeled as 2. Not seeing a bunch of difference though between 1 and 2. Ah, there it is. There's something like on his forehead, like a skull or something. See if we can't zoom in on that a little. Well, there we go. Those are our 3 sprue. Again, here within this variant of the Hellblasters, you're going to get 2 of each of these 3. Let's go ahead and take a look at that rule book now and really dive into it and see where all of our extra pieces are and try to figure out what these are. Alright, and then by the looks of the cover, we're going to have 3 main variants. Your intercessors, your heavy plasma, and your plasma. Though those look almost identical. Oh, here we go. We see the connector there, the tubing. And again, here we have that little thing to pay attention to, especially when you see the exclamation point, because that is usually giving you a little bit of warning. A lot of times it's that you make sure you put it on in its proper orientation. And it looks like we have a couple different versions of the stance. That's cool. And then here's our last, which is going to give us all of that. And then here we can see all of our different weapons. So we can see the parts that we will need for each one. And once again, I believe it is part 18 that I'm kind of interested in to see what that guy was. And here we're seeing all the different head options. 19 close. Then I love the option with just his hand, with just him pointing. 18, here we go. Alright, so it's a part of this Hellblaster Assault Plasma Incinerator. So there we go. So we're adding on extra little bits onto his gun. So now this is the only part where we might start to get to a little more complicated on magnetizing, because if you are using this in multiple places, let's see. I don't see. Yeah, see, there's that gun there. You see, it has a different part number, part 19. I think it's the same. No, it's got a different. It doesn't have the arm. So maybe they are. Maybe that isn't going to be an issue. But then here again, we see all of our different heads. And by the looks of it, there are 9 different heads within this set. And then the one, there was like 4 of them. So, you know, and then since there are going to be 2 of each, or there's going to be then 8 of these ones and then 2 of all of these, that is a ton of extra heads. I myself have even gone as far in some of my things to magnetize the heads, so that way I could have a helmeted head and then a faced head and just be able to pop those on and off as well. I figured, hey, I mean, I got these little itty bitty magnets for all of the weapons. If I'm magnetizing something, I'm going to go the whole 9 yards, and I've even magnetized the heads so I can swap them out. And when they give you so many, it's just begging. And here, lots of accessories, and the beauty of it is, looks like this, yeah, Blood Angels, this instruction manual was even made for this version, for the Blood Angels version, because you can see the Blood Angels parts here as potential upgrades. In the Blood Angels shoulder pad right there, all of our different accessories. And this is just a huge, this has got to be one of the largest instruction booklets that I have come across in a lot of my, especially sets of this size. There's just so many different options with these guys that they're giving us. So awesome. And then we have our rule sheet, and then most likely as we change the page, it will be the same thing, just in our different languages. And then an even more detailed, I'm going to leave that here for a second, an even more detailed of this color palette, where not only are they showing it here, but they're even pointing out the different areas. So for like the plasma here, this is you know, their progression. For their gold, here's their progression. For the red armor, their progression. That is absolutely fantastic. And then some close-ups of all that. So here you can see again that plasma. There we go. And this is just as simple as you're going to paint it with your top layer, paint the whole thing, and then go to your next layer, put a little on, go to your next layer, you know, kind of doing little circles, and your circles are getting smaller and smaller till you get to the very top center where you have your white. Very cool. Well, that is everything for our Primaris Hellblasters for the Blood Angels faction. I hope this unboxing has helped you to determine if this set is something that you would be interested in, and especially being able to see all of the extra bits that are in here for one of the faction specific versions and what changes there might be as opposed to just your straight ultramarine one. We can definitely see where they have upgraded the instruction book to accompany those Blood Angels and how we have those extra upgrade sprues. Well, until next time, guys, I'll see you later.